And we welcome you back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this May 17th, Thursday. I'm Steve Hare. Eric Granstrom, your guest host, will be returning here in a few minutes, but now it's time for our live interview segment of the program. And of course, this week has been filing week for those of you out there who might like to run for public office. Well, this is the week that you have to formally file for that position. Joining me right now in our NCW Live studio, one of those who is seeking election to a post in Chelan County. Of course, Keith Gaynor is retiring from the Chelan County Commission, representing District 2, mostly the Upper Valley areas that are represented there. Well, we have one of the candidates who's filed for that position. His name is Zachary Miller, and we welcome him to the program right now. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Steve. Thanks
You
for
prefer
having me.
Zach or Zachary?
Actually, people have called me both for most of my life, so I don't even really notice much anymore.
Just don't call me late for dinner, right?
Yeah.
The old saying goes. Well, thanks, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. It's great to be here talking with you.
Let's learn a little bit more about Zachary Miller and what he brings to the table and the county commission. First of all, I guess the standard question, what is driving your candidacy? Why are you running?
Absolutely. Well, I've been thinking about getting into public service for a number of years. In all the different work that I've done, I've had opportunities to serve people and to serve my community, and that's always been such a fulfilling thing for me. And so I've thought about different ways that I could do that, and when I saw that Keith wasn't going to be running for re-election this year, I thought that this would be a great opportunity to get in there and continue to serve.
So what do you bring to the table in terms of experience?
Well, after I finished college, I ended up working in a nonprofit, and during that experience, I really saw the power of what good organization was like. I came in basically as a secretary for a weatherization department for a community action council, and really quickly started working on how we could organize the department better. And we were in a process of going from moving things to physical files to actually digitizing everything. And something that I tell young people all the time is when you work at a place, let them see what you can do. Follow the things that you're really good at, because good employers will take advantage of that and they'll put you in places that work well. So I actually really quickly started working in all the different departments within the organization, helping them to reorganize what we were doing and coming up with a consistent way for the place to function. And so within that, I joined the Human Resource Department, which was a great way to work across everything. And that really showed me the power of working well with people. And you want to empower the people that you're working with. You want to train them well. You want to have a consistent way that the entire organization is functioning. And so after that, I actually moved back here to Leavenworth and started my own business with my dad. We had a stonemasonry business together. Oh. And I just enjoyed being in this community.
Now, you're a Leavenworth native, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Leavenworth, went to school here, and then ended up at Central Washington University after that, and came back here to be able to work with my dad and focus on the masonry, and then also had a chance to work in a different ministry setting as well, too, working with youth primarily.
Oh, wonderful. Understand that you are now employed by Tall Timbers?
Yeah, I work as the assistant director at Tall Timber right now. I came on a few years ago, and my main function there is to run the day-to-day operations.
What is Tall Timber?
Tall Timber is a retreat center that's located up above Lake Wenatchee. Actually, those earlier shots that you're showing of the county on the third video that was up above Lake Wenatchee, it was looking up towards Grasshopper and Dirty Face, and Tall Timber is actually located right down in the valley of where that is. Really beautiful setting. It's been a place that people have come for retreat for 65 years now. So I'm really honored to be a part of that legacy of what's happened there. Like most camps, most people think of summer camp and kids, and that is a huge part of what we do there. We have about 600 kids that come through in the summertime, but we're actually open year-round, and we serve about 3,500 guests that come the rest of the year. Wow. A lot of those in the wintertime. So the operation there, like a lot of nonprofits, it's a small team, but we have a lot to do. And so I have a great role there because it's primarily focused on caring for the staff as we take on the operation of what we do to have those retreats for all of our guests.
Well, obviously, a part of your expertise might be in tourism.
Yeah, You know, it's
a big industry that's growing here.
It is in the county. You know, there's such a balance between all of those different things. I know that I faced that even with Miller Stoneworks. There was so many people that came into the area because that they saw something they liked and then they wanted to build a home here. And that ended up being a large part of my industry, was working with second homes that were there. And then you have to balance that with all of us who live in this area and the expense of that and all of that. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get into public services, because I find that we do so well when we find a way to honor one another in these conversations and come to a place of common ground.
Zachary Miller, a candidate running for Chelan County District 2 Commission in the upcoming primary. And of course, you'll be running against, right now, of course, filing period hasn't ended, but you're one of 4 candidates running for that position. Now, this is a partisan position. What are you running as?
I'm running as an independent. And the reason for that is that I see so much good in both parties. And I've found that for me, I've always landed in a place of diplomacy and wanting to see people work together. And it was something that I really had to search inside of myself to figure out, how do I be authentic? How do I present myself to the public in a way that best represents where I want to be? And I think, as being an independent, I'm saying that I want to see people come together, and I think that both perspectives on things are always so valuable.
It's easier said than done in many ways, especially with the controversies that we face here in Chelan County, what with marijuana, grizzly bears, and rental housing and that type of thing.
Yeah. You know, the marijuana growing is definitely a huge one. That's probably the question that I've gotten asked the most since I've publicly stated that I'm running. And here's the way that I approach something like that and looking at it. First of all, like I said, I want to see us come to a place where we understand one another. So you look at people that have come into this community and they say, I want to run a business. I'm going to grow something. I'm going to contribute in that way. And that's a great thing, whether it's someone who's going to grow a farm or put a garden in their backyard or have an orchard. And now growing marijuana is something that's legal within the state. And so people have invested a lot of money, and they've gone through the process of trying to make this work. And that's something that we should honor, and we should respect, and we should figure out how that functions within our community. Now, the other side of the coin of that is that symbols are really important in our life. And for a lot of people who've grown up where marijuana wasn't legal, it wasn't something that was seen as a positive. That's a hard mindset to change. And it's not that they're against the people who are doing that. It's that this thing symbolizes something that they might not want in their community, or they just don't like the effects of what come with that, with the smell, with some of the other things that are the contentious parts of it. But you know, we all do things to try to serve one another, try to help. If you have a friend that's struggled with addiction, things like that, when you have them over for dinner, you act a little bit differently. You might not open up that bottle of wine or something like that, simply because you care about who they are. And so what I'm saying is that in our own lives, we find ways to honor one another within this conversation. And I think that there is a place where we can look at those two sides and say, you know what, I don't think that people are so far apart in this. And, you know, the old grade school Venn diagram, where's the middle? I think there's a lot more in the middle, because most people actually want to find a way for this to function within our community and in a way that everyone can respect. And so I know that the county is deeply involved in this right now, but I do think that there's a place that we can come out of this where we can honor growers, and we can honor the traditional ways that people have lived, and come out to a place of goodness in it.
Do you have any experience in governance? Have you served on any governing boards?
Not besides just functioning within the boards that I've been a part of. When I worked in ministry, I had a chance to be able to sit on the board there for that church and see how that worked, and then just getting to interact with the Tall Timber Board as well. But no, this would be my first chance getting into government.
Good deal. I'm going to give you the last word with about a minute that we have left in the program, so tell us more about Zachary Miller and what he brings to the Chelan County Commission.
Well, I think that one of the most powerful things that I can bring is that I don't have an agenda coming into this. There's nothing in my background where I'm coming in where it's one specific issue or it's one piece of the county or the community. I'm in this because I love people. I always really have, and I've found that public service is one of the most powerful things and meaningful things in my life. And I'm at a place where I'm thinking about my future and where I want to be involved, and I want to be involved with our community in this greater sense, and so I'm looking forward to running.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again as this campaign continues.
All right, thank you.
You betcha. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
That's okay. Again, that's Zachary Miller, candidate for the 2nd District of the Chelan County Commission.